Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy, and I am joined by my lovely co-host Rhianna.
Hello.
We ended up going to a convention on Saturday of this past weekend. We were kind of puked a little bit on Monday, and that was why we didn't end up doing a Talking Tellest then. But we figured we would give a late in the week Talking Tellest now, and kind of go over what we did, and then go over
What we wish we did,
Yeah.
because Saturday was a lot of fun, but it was also like our first event since
October
of last year, so we were a little out of not practice, but like we forgot to bring a lot of the items that I think we've brought to previous events.
Right, and this was a one-day event, so you do think a little bit differently
Right,
of it.
you think, it's only a few hours, but when you're a vendor at any of these events, it's not just a few hours. Like, it'll both go by, like, it goes by incredibly quickly mentally, but physically, you are exhausted.
Yeah, you
by
get
the
drained.
time you unload everything. If you're introverts like us, you're gonna get very
your battery wears out.
yeah, your battery
social
wears
battery.
out very quickly. You get drained, you get tired, and in that process, you're so focused on where you're at and what you're doing that you don't focus on self-care.
Right.
So we wanted to put together a list of our top 10 items that we recommend everybody have. A lot of these we've brought to previous events, but we didn't have them on Saturday, and it was felt. Their absence was very heavily felt.
We did have some of them, and those were the ones at the top of our list because we remember them every time.
Exactly.
We're going to start off by just showing our expertise a little bit. We can't really be telling you about, like our experiences at Comic-Cons and saying that we're subject matter experts unless we can show you that we indeed are.
Oh, there's no music.
Meh.
So we can talk over it, I guess. Those are my wands.
Oh, I could have turned the audio on.
It's alright. We probably don't have a license for it anyway. That's our children's book. We've got a little display for little necklaces and extra items. I put together little pens or righty wands. And those are the books.
A small sample of them.
Right. Yeah, we have many more books, but we figured for a shorter event, like that's a heavy load and unload.
Yep. So we'll just jump right into it. We will show off the things that we have that we've taken before and the things that we would recommend. We are calling these cushion covers, but they're really just seat cushions.
They're seat cushions, but they're specifically designed for lumbar support.
So and tailbone.
And tailbone
as well.
Yeah.
My coccyx hurts a lot if I don't have one of these.
We learned this by like our first con. I think they only had those metal folding chairs, and my goodness, we were so sore.
So the very first convention that Rhianna and I ended at, we ended up on Thursday. Probably it wasn't too big of a deal because it was only like 3 or 4 hours, maybe 6 tops. But Fridays and Saturdays at that event are long. It's tremendous.
It's a full day.
Yeah. And I remember the Friday event, we ended up going to dinner afterwards and didn't speak a word to each other. It was the first time that we've ever gone a meal without saying anything.
Right.
We were just so worn out, and I can guarantee you that the reason was we did not feel great after all this. Like, believe it or not, you're not moving. You're just sitting there,
right?
But
sitting or standing, but when
it takes it out of you. It feels like you're doing. It feels like physical exhaustion,
right? It honestly feels like torture when you're sitting on a metal chair and you have absolutely no support, and you like your options are basically to stand even though you're fatigued or sit even though it hurts.
Right.
And it's a very not good situation.
Right. And a lot of times, like if you're going to be at a convention, you're going to be in an indoor location that probably has cement or concrete ground.
Right.
So you're not getting any like pushback from the ground. Well, I should say you're getting nothing but pushback from the ground. It doesn't take like any shock or anything like that. So it's the hardest stand that you're going to have in your experience, you know, like even when you're at, like if you work retail or something like that, typically they're at least nice enough to give you some kind of like standing cushion.
Exactly.
So
these aren't, I think, these aren't the exact brand that we have, but it's relatively similar. The back support as well as the lower seat cushion are highly recommended. They're fairly affordable, um, considering the world. But it's definitely a great option, and they usually come in these little like travel bags, so they're easy to transport. You can just throw it on top of your other stuff if you have like a wheeling cart or something.
Yep, we keep it in the closet. We know where it goes.
Right.
They're very lightweight, so like you don't have to worry about like it feeling like too heavy and like the objects that you're carrying or anything.
And it's very much worth it. We're not young people anymore, like mid to late 30s, early 40s, and it's a kindness to yourself and your future self to give yourself a comfortable chair.
Nope. And with that in mind, we're going to go to another part of your body that will probably feel good if you treat it right.
Your knees.
Yeah. Again, once you get to our age, you feel it much more acutely. Right. When you're young, that's when you have to start treating yourself well. So no kneeling on concrete ground.
Yeah. You think you're invincible when you're younger, but like every single time you drop to your knees or anything, you're hurting your future self.
Yeah. I also this is hilarious. This cushion here specifically is for women.
What? Oh, okay.
Bad for women.
Only for women.
Only for women.
Again, this is not our exact one, but it's very similar. The fact that it folds up is a big plus, because, again, you can carry this, like, you can loop something through this and through the carrier for the lumbar cushions, and it's basically less than, like, carrying a load of groceries.
Yeah.
But if you're in a convention hall that has concrete floors, or if you're even at an outdoor event that has, like, dirt or like hay or something on the ground, you want the cushion, you want the knee support. Most vendors, not just us, but like most vendors who sell like a number of items, will use under the table to store those items, because you don't want to clutter your space.
That is absolutely correct.
Yeah, it depends on the type of products that you sell, but more often than not, you're going to utilize under the table.
Right.
And having a kneeling cushion is a huge bonus. It will save your knees. It'll help you from being fatigued in the long run. And at the beginning of the day, you might be like, getting down and getting up real nice. But if you don't have one of these, then by end of day, you are struggling to get back up.
Right. And the thing about it is, too, like, most conventions and fairs and stuff are not one day things.
Yeah,
so,
it's
like,
multi-day.
Yeah, like you might be able to make it through a day and then just suffer the next day and be like, oh man, that was really rough. But like, if you're going to be doing this for 3 days or 4 days in some cases, it's very nice to have something like that that's kind of taking the pressure off of you.
Right.
You're still going to feel it, but hopefully you feel it that third or fourth day instead of at the end of day one.
Exactly.
So.
None of this is sponsored, by the way. These are just some items.
Not a sponsor. Could be.
Could be. This is just another example of another thing that you should do to care for yourself, which is prepare for any weather event that you have.
We have an umbrella on the screen right now, but that's just one piece.
Right, it's one piece of multiple things. So I use this as an example because it's, a easy portable one. I think we have a very similar one. Windproof.
Yeah, ours is like a little green one.
Yeah, you can use this for, if it's too sunny, if it's raining, if it's super windy out and also raining. But basically, weather depending, if you have the chance of it being raining, bring your rain boots. Like, especially if you're going to an outdoor event and you have to walk through mud, bring rain boots.
Right. And we will say, like, our event this past weekend was an indoor event, but
it snowed on the way up to the indoor event in April.
Yeah.
It was so unexpected.
And I mean, yes, you may be indoors during this event, but you still have to. You might be lucky, right? You might be able to drive onto the show floor and you might be able to unload your stuff that way.
But that's not often.
Right. And you usually have to be prepared for that the day before. Like, hey, I know the event's going to start on Friday. They're going to give us, they're going to give vendors or people in the creator alley, they're going to give us the option to go on Thursday.
Right.
That's great, but if you don't have that opportunity and you're doing an indoor event where you have to load in,
Right.
you're doing something outside typically.
Right.
So you want to make sure, like I was wearing a t-shirt and shorts.
And it was snowing, and that snow turned into like freezing rain. It was definitely unexpected, but we should have prepared like extra pants or another sweater or something.
I had extra clothes. They were just all shorts.
Yeah,
all
they were
shorts
just
and
all
all
shorts.
t-shirts.
Exactly.
Because again, it's April. We
Right.
weren't thinking. I mean, Rhianna and I met during a blizzard in October.
That's true.
That felt weird then.
Right.
This felt weird now.
Right. So keep an eye on the weather. Make sure if it's sunny out, you're bringing your sunscreen, your sunglasses. If it's in the middle of summer or in the fall, you definitely want to bring your bug spray as well, because you don't want to be attacked by mosquitoes or ticks or anything like that. So just prepare for the elements.
Yeah, and I think speaking of which, this next one kind of helps with that too. So we have...
Yes, this is the exact model that we have.
Yeah, and we love this fan.
Yeah.
We have two of them, I think.
We
right?
do have two of them. It's a portable, it's a portable fan that you can recharge. It's quiet. It's powerful. It lasted us all day at our Renaissance fair.
For 3 days,
For
because we
3
kept
days.
charging it up the day before.
Yeah, we would bring it home, charge it at night, and bring it back, and it was so... It was so worth the money. Let's just put it that way.
Now,
it was really nice to have. And for indoor events, the air is so stale in those convention halls. It is oppressive. I have asthma. I wish I had a fan with me. I also, in our past event, also, if you have any sort of panic disorder or any kind of anxiety, or you get claustrophobic when there's a lot of people around, just having that fan kind of blow on you and give you like a little bit of fresh air, even if it's not fresh, quote unquote, it just helps. And if you're sweaty, it helps get rid of that sweat so you don't look like a sweaty mess and people feel like you're approachable.
It'll also help you with mosquitoes too, because mosquitoes, one of the big recommendations that we have against mosquitoes is fans. If you've got mosquitoes that like get into your house and stuff like that, it's typically in the summer days where you're opening the back door.
A lot.
If you throw a fan and you point it at that entry, that'll usually take care of any mosquitoes that want to come in. And the same principle comes here. If you can blow this fan at yourself, usually the mosquitoes are going to blow away because they're very light creatures.
Right. Some people we were drawing into our canopy by offering them some air.
Right. Now, you'll also have to remember, if you're doing a Renaissance fair, it might not be... It's an anachronism of the fair.
Right, you want to keep it kind of like
concealed,
under the you can keep it under the table and it'll still be nice and breezy for you.
Yep.
It's not breaking the immersion if you can't see it.
And some fair runners, they're not going to care. They want comfort for their vendors, stuff like that.
I can't imagine a scenario where like the Ren Fair police are going to come by and be like, "You put that away. That's not historically accurate because you're using your phone to make purchases anyway." So.
Right. Yeah, they don't want you playing on your phone. But Rhianna also mentioned again, like, this is very nice for anxiety, and I just wanted to say that principle also carries through to babies. If the baby's sad, just blow on their face. It gets rid of the anxiety. So. The more you know.
I don't think it gets rid of the anxiety.
Oh, completely does.
I think
all right.
It just interrupts their thought process.
So we don't have this, but Matt has a similar version of this, and
he's brought it before to our events, and it was very useful. I'll be getting this for our next event.
Yeah.
So when you go to an event, you're probably going to have access to food. That's not enough. It's difficult because you don't know when your day is going to get busy. And Michael and I are lucky enough to have each other, but we've had events where, if he goes off to, if he needs to be somewhere, if he goes
if I'm
back
doing
to
a panel or something like that.
if you're going off to a panel or you're occupied elsewhere and I'm left alone at the thing, it stinks if you're hungry while you're sitting at the event and you don't have access to food, or if there's a long line for the food. And more often than not, the food that they serve is going to be not the best thing for you health-wise.
Right, it's going to be junky. And typically in this kind of bag, you're not going to be putting health food either, but you can at least...
You can customize your choices. Yeah. And the food that I would recommend is things like...
trail mix.
Things like a trail mix. So you don't want anything messy. You don't want anything like a banana that's going to leave a peel or something. Yeah. It's not appealing.
I will say this.
Gotta laugh at
Like,
me.
life hack. If you want, bring a disposable spoon or a spoon that you're going to wash later
Right.
to put into a Ziploc baggie of trail mix.
Right, so that you're not using your hands that are exchanging money potentially, or anything like that. But anything that's like packed with protein that isn't going to be incredibly crumbly all over the place. So granola bars,
Yeah,
or like
I would not recommend Nature's Valley.
yeah, those are very crumbly. Nor would I go with anything super sticky, because if someone like they're gonna choose the moment that you're like mid bite to stop by and be like, "How much are these?" And you're like, because you got peanut butter in your mouth. You don't want that.
I had chicken in my mouth this past weekend when I was talking to somebody. Yeah, the map's $40.
Yeah, you
Did
want
you say clucks? No, bucks.
Well, you had the chicken, so clucks. But yeah, bring food for yourself.
Let's we're at the halfway point. We have one more time where we have to go to our sponsor. We want to thank them by showing their video. And now, a word from our sponsors. If you could walk into dreams and explore them like they were another world, what would you do? It's a premise that author Tom Crowan tackles in his wonderful debut, The Rift Beyond Dreams, the first book in his Dreams of Draenor series. Whether it's long-established lore of the world or the magic and majesty of the way Reverie works in the series, everything feels so rich and immersive. And though this story dives into deep notions and explores a lot of questions of the psyche, it's interspersed with interesting revelations, breezy action, and fun character moments that keep it moving along at a very nice pace. The best part is that this is just the start of this spectacular journey, with more from Crowan's wonderful world on the way. Check out our promo for The Rift Beyond Dreams, Dreams of Draenor Book 1, on the Tellest website. Alrighty, folks, we are back with the back half of our episode. We've got 5 more items to bring to your attention, and we are starting with something that we did while we were off the when we were over at the sponsor. We were hydrating.
Yes. So
Yes!
It is very important. I never used this brand. I just thought Liquid IV was an interesting brand name that kind of gets the point across. Lots of different flavors. But so at this past event, we did not use the bathroom once while we were there, and it was like an 8-hour situation.
I went to their restroom after the event.
Right, after
but, like,
the
as
event.
we were unloading, I decided to take a slight break. But...
So what happens is you think sometimes, like, all right, I'm just not going to drink anything so that I don't have to use the convention bathroom. Or you think, I don't want to leave my table. Let's say you're vending alone and you don't want to, overhydrate yourself so that you don't have to leave the table. Or you just forget about it because you're so busy and you're running on adrenaline. You must hydrate, and having some sort of extra electrolyte thing with potassium and other little vitamins and B12s and stuff is so essential, because you feel it the next day. Like, the lack of water will take a toll on your body, even if you, drink a gallon of it that night. Like, the fact that you're not keeping yourself hydrated and you're running on fumes is such a big deal.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend bringing water too. Don't sustain yourself on stuff like this.
Just add something like this to at least one of your waters throughout the day to keep yourself hydrated.
Right. And you can also tuck that water away in your little snack box.
Right. If you use your little cooler, you make sure that you have additional waters, because the other thing is, if you have to buy water at a convention, they're charging so much money for it. It's like movie theater water. Yeah. That's on a dig at conventions. It's a dig at the price of everything. Mm-hmm. But I do highly recommend just hydrating regardless of not wanting to run back and forth from the bathroom. Vendors are, if you haven't vended before and you're vending now, vendors are usually very supportive of each other. Like, make friends with your neighbors, introduce yourselves, because if you need to run to the bathroom for 5 minutes and just have someone sort of watch your table and let people know that you'll be back soon, you may return that favor for that person later that day.
Right. Even
if it seems like they have more support than you do. Like, let's say they have, like Michael and I have each other, you might have 2 or 3 vendors together doing something. But like we said, people have panels, people have other commitments, someone might have to run back to the car. and emergencies happen, so be nice to your neighbors, they'll be nice to you.
Yeah, we've never, I don't think, had any experience with a fellow vendor where they've been mean.
Right.
We've had someone at the fair who kind of took advantage of other people's niceness.
Yeah,
But
you don't want to ask someone to watch your table and then be gone for a half hour. That's
right.
very rude. The other thing is, if you have, let's say you're selling something like jewelry or something like very expensive, or you have like a cash box or something like that, you can always bring a backpack and just carry it with you when you need to go.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what he'll carry the cash box with him if he has to go somewhere.
Yep.
It's better to have on your person than leave it if you're unsure. But like I said, most vendors are going to be supportive of one another, and you're all on high alert anyway. You're all meerkats in that event, like you're looking everywhere, so they're gonna see something out of the corner of their eye if somebody tries to take advantage.
Pro tip, by the way, if you have lower back problems like I do because of overexerting yourself in your youth, and you actually feel better extending backwards than you do forward, having your cash box in your backpack actually really helps because it pulls you backwards.
Balances, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Comfy shoes. So this is a huge one. I actually have these ones, like this actual brand, and I can recommend them. Again, not sponsored, but could be. Have ugly, comfy shoes. They don't have to be ugly, but most often the uglier, the more comfy.
Yeah.
Crocs, for example, are extremely comfortable. Wear your ugly, supportive shoes. If you have like a costume and you want like a specific shoes, like if you're a lady or other, and have like a high-heeled shoe or something like that, wear it for your photo ops. When you're behind your table, take it off, slip onto your comfy shoes. Those conventions have long walks.
They do.
Typically.
One other recommendation too. We're saying to get these shoes. You don't want to wear these shoes for the first time at the convention.
Yes, facts. Make
so,
sure that they're broken in.
Right.
They should be like tried and true, comfortable for you and for your foot.
Yes, you want to find something that you hope that you'll like and that you'll wear enough to it won't have been worn out so bad that like you've got no rubber on the sole.
Right.
But it's not constricting to your toes or anything like
exactly. that. It's good to look for shoes that are recommended for like nurses because they have to walk long shifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're standing almost the whole
right.
time.
Or shoes for plantar fasciitis, or I don't know how to say it, or diabetic shoes actually, even though they're super unattractive for the most part. Like, just the brands don't make them snazzy, which is a shame. But they're the ones that have, like, the straps on them that'll adjust based on, like, your foot size because they're prone to, like, swollen feet.
Right.
Even though those are so comfortable. They're criminally comfortable. All shoes should be like that. I don't know why. They make them like that for children, right? Like the little
Velcro snaps.
Little Velcro snaps. Like, make them for adults and also give me light up shoes. But yeah, just don't worry about it. Just wear comfy shoes. Even if you're assuming you're wearing socks and you have like a long tablecloth over and like no one's gonna see your feet, bring one of those little like the balls that have the like the spiky things in it that you can like roll your foot on, just to give yourself a little bit of self-care in like the stressful moments. Because lugging all that stuff, like, just think about the fact, even if you're carrying or you're pushing your wares, you are exerting like twice the amount of force that you normally do on your feet. So
one other recommendation too, if you do not have $100 to spend, you can do again like a Dr. Scholl's or something like that. You can get an insert, and it might not last as long as a full shoe would, obviously, but it can make a great difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So take care of your feet. Make sure you got some arch support. It's worth it, especially for us old people.
Us old.
The olds. These are awesome. So these are like any kind of cooling body wipe. If you just have like a regular body wipe, that's absolutely fine too, but you want to bring something. We over Purell our hands often at these events. We are sweating. We are disgusting midway through. Again, high five. What are you doing?
Feel how soft.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't
He's
matter
got
that I
very
over
soft hands.
Purell.
Yeah. He's just showing off how soft he is.
I'm a soft boy.
He's a soft boy. He just held his hand out to me. Yeah, but these are amazing, especially if you're like very sweaty and you just wipe one on the back of your neck. It's got like that eucalyptus kind of cooling feeling. It's so refreshing. It's not good to feel grimy, especially if you're at a outdoor event, a Renaissance fair. You've got the elements going like all over the place, and you just don't feel fresh. Yeah, you feel icky. When you do take a break to go to the restroom, you can bring these if you want to do like your underarms and stuff. It's just very nice to have another means of staying clean and cool and refreshed.
I do also want to give another life pro tip. You'll notice that on this package it says do not flush. There are some wipes that say that they're flushable. That is a lie. Do not flush any wipes. The modern plumbing system cannot handle them, and you may destroy it, and you'll pay a lot for doing that.
That is also true, especially if you're a homeowner. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. It ain't worth the cost of the plumbing.
It ain't worth your life.
It ain't worth your life. And this is another big recommendation. It doesn't have to be this one, but this is fairly affordable for the price. But if you have little items that are just in case items, it's very much worth bringing. You want to have some sort of like Tums, like an antacid of some kind if you have an upset stomach. You want to have something for your body aches. You want to have something for a headache. You want to have nail clippers in case you get like a hangnail or like you split your nail or something. That is so uncomfortable, and you're gonna be thinking about it all day. If you don't have something to just take care of it. If you get a splinter, especially if you're at an event where they have like those old wood tables or something and you have a splinter, you're gonna be uncomfortable if you don't have some sort of tweezers to get it out. You want to bring eye drops. If you get something in your eye, it is not attractive to those trying to buy your products.
Hold on a second.
Blinking at them. Yeah, and you don't want to put your hands, which have been, again, exchanging money or covered in Purell, in your eyeballs. So bring those. Also, if you let's say you didn't listen to the earlier part and you got brand new shoes and now you have blisters on your feet, you want to have some sort of Band-Aid available, some cushion, something. Heaven forbid you cut yourself in a very uncomfortable way and you're about to bleed all over everything.
I did that on Friday.
Michael hurt his leg going up in the U-Haul. You want to take care of open wounds. Please do that. Have your disinfectants, have an alcohol wipe, have something so that in the event that something goes wrong to you and yourself, you have the means of taking care of it, and you don't have to go on like a mad spree of trying to find access to something. If you have allergies, bring a Benadryl. If you have asthma, bring your inhaler. Make sure you have the essentials for taking care of yourself, even in like a little travel capacity. Again, you don't have to have one of these things, but like put some stuff in a Ziploc bag and just bring it with you, just to have it. It'll give you not only like the physical prep, but it'll give you the peace of mind, like mentally, to know if something goes wrong, you have emergency backup. And it's a big win if something goes wrong for like a vendor nearby and you
come through like the hero.
Right. If you come through and you're like, I prepared for this, here's something to take care of this for you. Again, you want to make friends with the people around you. It's not only is it nice to just have like a mutual support and like connection there, because you will be friends. You're going to be spending hours a day near each other. But it's just nice to be supportive, because again, if you're kind to others and they return the favor, like you never know when somebody's truck is going to get into a ditch or something and they need help getting out of it, or if it happens to you, like you want to have that support.
Right. Some associated advice. I don't know that you would bring it with you to the event, but it's always nice to have some Imodium at hand in your house, especially leading up to an event like this. If you have the poopies, you're gonna have a bad time. So,
you're gonna have a real bad time.
Yeah, we lucked out. I had some belly issues the night before, but it fixed itself marvelously that day, and it might have just been like by necessity. My stomach was like, I'll be nice to you today.
Yeah,
but
your adrenaline took over and it tightened everything in your body.
Yeah. But it's not always like that, so it's good to have the means to medicate yourself for that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Also great on flights.
It is also great on flights.
All right, our final item.
Ricola. It doesn't have to be this one, but any kind of...
It's a soda that Rhianna makes.
Huh? Ricola? Haha! He's funny. No, he's not. So any kind... You want to have something for your throat. You're going to be talking more than you typically talk unless you specifically have a job where you're talking constantly. I don't. I talk to our dogs during the day.
But, I mean, we've only been talking, between the two of us, a half an hour, and you can hear the scratchiness in our voice.
Exactly. And it's really... You don't realize the toll that it's taking on you when you're at the event, but you will feel it the night of and the day of. You're going to have that scratchiness. It's going to be difficult to communicate with people. So if you take precautions and you take care of your voice while you're at the event, you're going to have better communication with your customers over the course of those 3 days than if you didn't and you're like, buy my stuff.
You know you want to.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So I would highly recommend something with like honey or something that's throat coating. You may also want to bring a variety of these things so that you're not like messing up your stomach by just downing the same thing over and over again for 3 days. But it is very nice to have some sort of comfort for that. And also the air in those conventions, if you're in an indoor event, very, very dry. If you're in an outdoor event and you have allergies, in either case, you want to have something that's going to be soothing on your throat. That's it. That's really it. The other thing that I would have recommended putting on here, but I feel like we did it only the once and out of absolute necessity because we were hurting so bad. I literally brought a massage gun to the event because we were so sore. I think it was like the second or third day and we were just like every part of our bodies hurt. So I just brought it, and it was funny, but it was also loud.
Yeah, and I think the joke was like we were also like offering that to people too,
right?
Like, oh, like just
you want a massage? Yeah, and I think that it's one of those things where you don't want to get to the point where you need a full massage gun at these events, but all of the things that we mentioned here are things that you can carry in one trip or less, and it's worth it to invest in yourself, and also
or less.
I mean, like not. I'm sorry. In my head, I was thinking like a trip to carry regular wares. You can have your
in
stuff
your car
on top of it. No, like when you're taking the stuff from your car. Like
let's
say we have a wagon and
a wagon.
I'm saying this might not be a full trip. You might not need a full trip for all of these items. You can pair it with carrying your regular item.
Gotcha.
It made sense in my head. I'm sorry if it
one trip or less. It's there when you need it.
You know what I meant, people of the internet. Wait. It's gone.
Her brain just.
Wait. Oh no. Wait. Oh, so you're not only are you just taking care of yourself, but you're also investing in your own business by taking care of yourself, because it is much more approachable to be like
healthy and
happy in your best self, not a sweating, scratchy voiced, miserable, in pain, shifting, like, creepo.
Functional.
Exactly. If that's not your, like, how you normally present yourself, you want to be able to put, like, your best foot forward, and not turn people away with simple things that you can do to just take care of yourself while you're at these events. Yeah. That's all I got.
Folks, what we will be doing is once this hits the YouTube channel, we will be putting these items in the description with links to where you can find them on Amazon. So that'll be a nice way for you to get these things if you don't already have them. Let's head over to our show closing page. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest content out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place for you to start because it'll bring you to all of our other projects. And it'll also show you the other people who we try to help lift along the way. We have 3 places that you can get some of our maps and goodies and stuff like that. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can get all of our maps and our Tellest artwork and stuff like that. Tellest.etsy.com is where you can find physical versions of our stuff, so you can get our maps there, but you can also get Rhianna's magic wands. She recently just opened up commissions there as well, so if you have a specific wand that you want designed, she can help you with that. Battlemapfantasy.com is where you can go to get a la carte style digital versions of our maps. We have 200 items on DriveThruRPG right now. By the end of the day tomorrow, we'll have 202. We've also got 2 TikTok channels that you should check out. At Tales of Tellest is where you can find our poochies. They did a little bit of help earlier in the show barking downstairs. And at Weird Witch Wands is another place that you can see Rhianna's wands. And I guess the other goodies that she shows off now too, because it's expanded to Beyond Wands.
It's true. I'm picking up a doggy. That's why I'm picking up a doggy.
We've also got 2 video channels that you should check out. YouTube.com/@WorldOfTellest is where you can find all of our videos even after they're gone from the Twitch platform. But Twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy is the place that you're going to want to start if you want to check us out live, earn some quest coins, and use them to tell us what you want us to do. Drink water. Do a stretch.
Self-care. Self-care items.
Yep. But that is going to wrap us up for today and for this week. We will be back next week for more Talking Tellest and making maps. But until then,
we'll miss you.